Sorry, I'm so cancelled.
campaign for a lot of years, and one of them who has dedicated her life energy, her work for the past few years to this is Tonight Brown. She has been a leader, a facilitator, someone who's led us towards a leaderful movement, so that this is a decentralized movement where all communities that are impacted by this facility can be involved in not just the protesting and the challenging of it, but also the solution building. What does it look like for us in our communities to be empowered with them, for and by each other to build the solutions that make us healthier? So if y'all would give it up for Tonight Brown. speak like they can hear us, right? Because we need to make sure that folks know that we're a part of this community family as well. So when I say what's up, it's not just to me, it's also to the folks inside, the folks that are still in survival mode, the people that are in there working, thinking they're working towards something better, but actually being co-opted in the process. We need to give them some energy as well. So what's up, y'all? And she's right, you know, this is not a movement for one person, it's not for one voice, it's not for one agenda. It's to make sure that all of our things intersectionally are represented, but it's also to make sure the people that are most impacted, young people, the folks that are black and brown in this city, whether you've been in this juvie or not, that are railroaded here every single day to take the leadership that we need to see. And so as we know that this work is happening, yeah, I've been here since I'm 25 and I may be a youth in my community. There are other folks that are coming up in this work that are making this real. They'll be the only ones that will lead us towards any sort of meaningful solution. So I actually want to give the spotlight to Iwe. And Iwe drops poetry, artists, and does their thing. So I'll just let that be the introduction to what I'm going to speak to y'all about.
Okay, yeah. Can y'all hear me? Yeah! Alright, so this one is dedicated to Seattle. It's called Dear White Progressives. Oh, yeah. Your love doesn't save us. Your love doesn't trump anything. Your love don't do shit for me. Your love is a prop. Your love is a picture of your damn face on the news hugging some other white American. Your love is the open debate between both sides that liberals love. Your love is a cop hugging a black protester, eyes wide open and waiting for the shutter click of the camera. Your love is wait and see. Your love is give him a chance. Your love is we shall overcome, but not a riot is the language of the unheard. Your love is calling us divisive when your ancestors divided us a long fucking time ago. Your love didn't save me from you gaslighting me about racism. Your love don't save the international students who commit suicide every year due to forced assimilation and American indoctrination. Your love don't save black lives. Your love doesn't stop the school to prison pipeline of black and brown folks. Your love don't stop mass deportations. Your love don't stop ICE raids. Your love is complicit. Your love is fetishization. Your love is tokenization. Your love is gentrification. Your love is American imperialism with a daisy in its hair. Your love is normalization. Your love isn't breaking down doors, calling your representatives, making institutions sanctuaries out here with the rest of us in the cold. Your love is asking me to build bridges with my oppressors. Your love is a safety pin but not a baseball bat. Your love is complacency because you live in a liberal city, and your love is a prize that a white supremacist won even though your own relatives voted red. Your love is condescension in the most poisonous way. Your love makes me sick. I don't want your love. I want reparations for the black and brown folks whose backs you and your ancestors have stood on all these years. I want you to give back the land you stole from the Duwamish, Muckleshoot, and Coast Salish tribes. I want you to stop selling the American dream to my peoples and all other immigrants and then use and exploit us for cheap labor and foreign dollars. I want you to take your love and do something other than tell people of color to see the good in white people when your own just elected a child rapist as the leader of the free world. I want you to stop sharing MLK quotes on Facebook. I want you to stop this new youth jail. I want you to stop defending yourselves. I want you to rise up, step up, back us up, and maybe then I'll think your love is worth my goddamn time.
Nobody could have said it better, so I appreciate you for that. Thinking about where we're standing at right now, we're standing in front of a youth jail, and thinking about who we're standing with right now, we're standing with folks that have gone through the same dehumanization as black folks and everybody else in this country. Do we understand that our policies, things like what happened with the boarding schools, taking our children away from their families, putting them in institutions that tell them negative things about themselves, that does not give them a sense of power and who they really are, putting someone else in a toxic, sick, white supremacist culture that will eventually kill them even in a little bit of time inside here, taking their neighborhoods over and pulling all the resources to something like this. These are the ways that our liberation and also our struggle are connected. So don't think we're not out here for anybody else. You should be out here for yourself, right? When we talk about white liberalism and we talk about progressive Seattle, we want to hear the words, but the words don't do nothing towards the policies and the things that hold us up. We heard a lot of words. We heard words from Dow Constantine. We heard words from Ed Murray. Everyone said zero use of detention, and the next week turned around and dismissed an appeal that was for the exact permit for this place, and that encourages detention for the next 50 years. Words don't mean anything. And that does not stop in institutions. It's in our culture. We can have signs and we can have banners and we can say all the right things on social media and we can even show up to events like this. But the work is not here. The work is in our community. Folks in here have been struggling with each other, and let's get it clear. As black and brown folks, we deal with the same sort of racism that these institutions have traumatized us with intergenerationally. When we say we're building things, when we're working together, it takes a revolutionary patience, love of self, a reclamation of who we are. It takes more work. Thank you. It takes more work than any 9 to 5, and any 40-hour, any program in here. That work is real to us, not because we want to work in our survival and we want to come back and do this work every time and every part of the night. We do this work. That's all right, bro. You can come through. Thank you.
Feel free to join us at any point.
For real, bring it over.
Yeah, come on.
We're saying we do this work. Real community work does not happen. It happens after the protest. It happens after the job. It happens at night. But the reason why we do that is because of things that we will create when we are in our best selves, when we are with each other, when we are following true leadership of people who have been most oppressed, most subjugated, not just most impacted. It wasn't something that just went upside our head one day. We are oppressed. It is an active thing. And we are fighting that in our resistance. We come up with the things that work for our community. We have already had them. Anytime anyone speaks to you and says, well, what is the alternatives? What does it look like? What else are we supposed to do? First of all, they're not really asking you what are the alternatives, because creating alternatives means divesting from this. So unless someone is willing to put this building on the table, take it off the table, then they're not really talking to you about any sort of solutions. So let's get that clear. We are not negotiating on a race to the bottom with a facility like this, with prisons in our state, with incarceration being what it is, and all the other systems. There's no way to negotiate that to make it better. So the first thing when people ask you, well, what are the alternatives? What do you want to do? It's what do you want to do? What are you willing to put on the table? When are you going to stop the process of this building this youth jail and have a real conversation about what works? The second thing is to realize that the solutions come from our community, and it's a struggle to move them. We don't have the same amount of funding, we don't have the same amount of physical infrastructure, and we don't need it, right? Things have already been created. You have programs like Creative Justice that's doing work that has been pulled from artists and artivism in our community. You have folks like Dominique Davis, Coach Davis, who y'all have seen, who have been doing this work regardless of when it's in the program title or not, and has experienced what it is to have to negotiate with systems like these when they're trying to co-opt your work. You have seen people like Campion Athletics, right? Black Star Line, Blackout Washington, Youth Undoing Institutional Racism, creating Black Space, Black Dot, Umoja Peace Center. Ben created Black Space. Ben has created places where our technology and our entrepreneurship grows, right? When we're not talking about those as solutions, you're not really talking about solutions. And again, we're not gonna have a conversation at all until this facility is off the table. Is that clear? Yeah! All right. Our second piece, and I'll speak to what Iwe was speaking to, is the work that we have to do in our own communities. So it's all good. We've been doing our work. Black and brown folks, we've been uniting. This is actually the work. I'm not here because there's a youth jail behind me. I'm here because it's an opportunity to connect with people that are going to build what the future is really going to be. That's what I'm here to do. So if you ain't talked to nobody, you ain't got no names, you ain't found nobody in your community today, then you're not doing the work, just to be honest. This is an opportunity to get with other folks that are in your community and talk about how the anti-blackness is moving, but don't just talk about it, figure out a way to put something on the line. What are you doing in terms of your own reparations? What are you doing in terms of bringing up your young people? I see people here with babies. It's multicultural all in this piece. Your babies are the ones that should be standing here next. So what are you doing in terms of their development to make sure that they have a clear sense of the accountable relationship that it will take to get to true liberation? I'm being super honest with you. I can come up here and fluff you up with all this youth jail shit, and that's real, but the work is always after this. Exactly, the work is after this. And people are struggling and moving through that. Healing spaces.
right? Resistance is in our safety, it's in our wellness. If we are not working on healing ourselves so that we can be sustainable in this work, and we're not doing things that will get us to live the life that we deserve to have, then we will never be able to sustain what it will take to take our children back. Okay? So what I'll leave you with is make sure that when we're shutting down this youth jail, no one ever tokenizes it to a brick and mortar building. We are shutting down all these systems and we're shutting them down for survival, but we also have a beyond. And that beyond has been worked on. Right? And so find those places which you and your community can do the tough. It's not going to be sexy work. It's not going to always have a bullhorn or a sign. It's not going to be excited to turn up on the police today. But that's what you can do when you have temporary activism. We in here is about some organizing. Is anybody here about some organizing? We are about building something. And we have things that are built, and we have things that are working for our community. So I appreciate everyone in here, and let's keep it going. No New Youth Jail.
Testing. Okay, hi. I just wanted to add some few words. Yeah, we've been talking, I just blasted a poem about how white supremacy and white complacency is damaging our communities, especially in organizing. So I want to look at all y'all, because I see a lot of y'all here, white folks. But also, I want to talk to non-black POC and non-native POC and how we're perpetuating settler colonialism. And we should, like, what is rooted in black liberation is rooted in liberation for us all. Like, all POC folks should be down here right now. Like my friends are black and brown youth, and they have felt the effects of this youth jail and its oncoming, like, just like a looming threat on them. They're 18, y'all. They're 16 to 18. They shouldn't be feeling this. But y'all, like, when we do this work, yeah, like what Sinead was saying, it's not gonna be sexy. It's not gonna be all like showing up and you getting like Instagram posts about you holding up a sign or nothing. Y'all gotta build relationships with each other. Y'all can't just show up here once and then never come back again and then post about it on your Facebook or something. We gotta be accountable to each other. This community gotta be accountable to each other. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks all for coming out.
Hey, y'all, give it up for the youth right here, because the youth right now are the truth right now. Our poetry is important and our culture is important. I come here a lot because I work with young people who are trapped in the jaws of the courts, and I went in today to grab some taxi vouchers to make sure young folks could get to all the merriment of things they are required to go to, sometimes impossible schedules and impossible tasks. And while I was in there, I was told that the staff were actually told not to engage us, not to have conversation with us. And what that actually told me was not that these folks are wrong for not talking to us, but really that this whole system is dehumanizing. Because if you weren't dehumanized, you would not tell humans not to have conversation with other humans. In fact, you would say, go out and have a conversation. Go out and talk with them. Go out and let them know what, if you really believe what you were doing in this building was right, you'd say, go out and tell them about your work. I have no hesitancy to talk to anybody about the work that I do. So what I want y'all to think about is this whole system is dehumanization. It's not just about not having youth jails. It's about transforming this entire beast that wants us all to be less human, to be less in our human dignity, to see each other as instruments or mechanisms that we shouldn't talk to. And that's what we're fighting for, is to exist more in our humanity, which goes back to what Sinead is saying, is what work are you doing inside, and what work are you doing with your community to see your humanity restored? Because when we live in our full humanness, we're gonna treat each other with the respect, with the justice, with the public love that we all deserve. If you can't love yourself, you're gonna have a hard time loving other people. So without saying too much more, we have another incredible organizer who has been holding it down in many areas of our community, working not just in opposition to building the youth jail, but also around our immigrant and refugee family, who we know is very much under attack under this new but old, because this is some old stuff, this federal administration. And she is the sort of person who refuses to accept anything but hard lines drawn in the sand when it comes to what is right and what is justice. If y'all would give it up for Rose.
I came a little late, so I imagine this already happened, but I want to start by acknowledging the Duwamish, Suquamish, and the indigenous peoples of this land, acknowledge that I'm a guest on this land. Also to acknowledge my ancestors. I'm a mixed race woman on my father's side. They come from Arequipa, Peru, which is South America, down in southern tip of Peru. And on my mother's side from Europe, Ireland, England, Italy, and France. A few other things I want to say right now is that my own personal story has taught me those connections, right? When I tell you where my people are from, you hear that my people come from down south. So the immigration story and the struggle of folks that are economic refugees from other countries, that's part of my history. That's how I see that to be connected to the indigenous struggle here. I hear the same stories happening there about destruction of land, destruction of life, destruction of the environment, and not seeing how people are tied to that. And that the same struggles are happening there as here. That I see the struggle in Standing Rock and across the world, struggles for life, water being life, our youth also being a life worth fighting for. That this is actually a fight for life. That we're affecting their lives in such a way that they can't live. That we're harming them. I didn't prepare something to say today, but rather spoke with some youth at an alternative high school today about whether or not we should have a juvie. It was a debate. So I'm going to pull out notes from that. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. So even in the debate, we saw where when the students said no, the reasons they said were because of business interest, because of how they run this place as a violent place. They said no because the police have too much power, and because the police are too violent, because of the police union, because there's no accountability for police, because they let people off when they do wrong things if they're police, because the system is racist, and because they would, that people want to reform. Those are the reasons they said no. Not because they didn't believe in something else, but because this system is so violent, it seems impossible to do. So for everybody who's out here today, I want to say thank you for being one more person that says no matter how violent this system is, we're not going to just accept it passively. And the reason we're even here today is because we never have been willing to accept this. When people said yes, that we could live in a city without a youth jail, they said that we have better ways, that we could create alternative jobs, that economically we can actually figure out a way to make this work. These youth are the youth that are going through the system. They're caught in the school to prison pipeline. They're the people who've been kicked out of school. A lot of people said they wouldn't come here today. If there are any youth who actually did come, even though they said they wouldn't, I would invite you to come up now if you would like to speak. But I know people said that this is a hard place to be. The last thing I would want to leave you with is actually quite a long list. But this is the list of things that they said we could put here instead. A community center, a basketball court, a sports courts, a homeless shelter, a gym and health center, urgent care, a food bank, a soup kitchen, garden for flowers and for actual food, parks, treatment center, a community bank so people can get access to funds, shared vehicles, a laptop library, laundry mats so people can have clean clothes, showers so people can be clean if they don't have access, a community spa where people can decompress and heal, haircuts and clothing for people who can't afford them, for youth especially. That affects their self-esteem. Self-defense classes, college classes, a bike center, a retreat center, again for healing, temples for meditation, yoga, creative classes for art, any type of music equipment library so they can do their own projects, counseling, a domestic violence shelter, cultural events, a meeting place so people can congregate, trauma counseling, hospitals, and a place for a music venue. That's a list of things that not only are they saying what we could do instead that would actually keep their community safer, but they're asking us to do that. So as tonight said, this isn't the only part of the work. We have to fight for self-defense. We do have to fight to stop this. If people have to put their bodies on the lines, that's what we have to do. But we also have to give the youth what they're asking for. Yeah. We also have to go to them and say, what do you want and what do you need to feel safe? What do you want and what do you need to heal? What do you want and what do you need to create a better society? And they're telling us we just have to continue to ask.
Woo! Yeah.
Okay, never mind. We can still up there.
So I believe we're gonna move to another spot here pretty soon. But before we do, we have some people here that are just, so like we said, that this event is about solidarity. It's about coming together. It's about building bridges. It's about allyships. It's about supporting one another. And so part of these events is the opportunity to do that. And so as Indigenous people, you know, we're here to support our other communities and people of color, but also our allies. And so today, after this event, we have another event going on. And so we have some people here that are going to tell you guys a little bit about that and a little bit of who they are. And so again, this is just part of that work of solidarity and building bridges. So if we could put our hands together, I have Natani and I have Curtis and Rafa. Sorry about that. So if we could put our hands together and welcome them up.
I've been using a lot of these. My name is Natani Nez means, my Navajo name is Natani Nez means. I come from 3 strong nations, the Umaha, the Dene, and the Oglala Lakota. Today I drove down here with my friend Rafa from Vancouver. We're on a short tour, we're on a long musical tour. We just spent, a majority of us spent about 7 months in Standing Rock, north of Standing Rock, in the freedom camps, on treaty land. And we're trying to readjust to being out here in society right now. I come from a prisoner of war camp. I was raised on the Navajo Nation reservation, where it's one of the largest prisoner of war camps. One thing about the reservation and the inner city is that they go hand in hand. You build up youth correction facilities. You put a bootlegger here, you put a liquor store there. That's what the youth are gonna do. That's what I did. You reach out to these meth houses, to these crack houses, and you end up here. Because that's all you see. All you see is your relatives being drunk. So I'm gonna be a drunk, and I'm gonna end up in jail. That was our mentality growing up. We were told by our teachers, you're not gonna be anything. You're just gonna end up a drunk or in jail. And I thought, well, that, you, I will. That's what you think of me. That's how they belittle us. The reservation in the inner city. That's what they think about us. Forgotten Americans. That's who we are. They only care about those people in the condos. With that paper money that can burn real easy. We burned it real easy. So I want to thank you for bringing us out here today. Because our struggles are similar. Our knowledge is similar. We just came from a fight, a hard fight. I still haven't healed from it. This America is not okay. Who you work for is not okay. Who you work for is not okay. You're commendable. Wake up and see the bigger picture. That's gonna be a youth jail. What the hell, man? You You just got read 30 different things that could be for these youth. Go and participate in. We just saw some walk out right now. Where are they going? Where are they going? When I was that age, we had nothing on the res. We leave high school, we go get a bottle, and we sit in the bushes, and we drink a bottle until we pass out. That's what we did, because that's all we had around. We didn't have community centers. We had a youth correction facility that they just built, 2007, and we ended up in there time and time again. That's what happens when you build these things.
Yeah.
Slavery of the mind. You see a jail and you're going to end up in it. That's all you see. All this concrete, all these buildings, all these square buildings, the square parking lots, it's all shaped like a jail. All shaped like a jail. I've been really trying to find myself and recognize that we need to be working in a circle again. Because a circle brings revolution. When the earth is tired of us as human beings, she will revolutionize herself. Come full circle and get rid of the infection. We are the infection. Thank you guys for letting me speak in front of you today. Tonight we have a concert. Right over here. Give it off to my brothers here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hello, my people. How are we doing out here?
Pretty good.
It's such a beautiful occasion. It's a beautiful thing. It's always a beautiful thing to see so many different diverse faces all in one space for a common cause. Now there's separate issues, you know, and a lot of times we get caught into them, and we focus on them, and it's good. It's beautiful to see that energy. But I also want us to continue to understand and acknowledge the fact that we are all fighting for one thing, because we are all one unit and we are all one cause here. And coming here and seeing this is so beautiful that it kind of, it reminded me of a rap I wrote. And if it's cool, I'd like to recite that for you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I've never actually recited a rhyme on a megaphone, so this is a first for me, so it's kind of cool. I often feel in prison within the walls I live in, a slave to my employer, a slave to the dollar bill, and another bill I receive in the mailbox. I feel the pressure, hoping that I don't slip into another depression. Texting friends, feeling lonely on a cold winter afternoon. I haven't seen the sun for days. Roll another blunt to blaze, even though it hurts my lungs. Perhaps I'll give it up, but at this very moment I'ma live it up and take another puff. Graduated from the swag, emancipated from that nasty poo who hit it too for do it again on a rainy day. My hopes and dreams are to find a different perspective and create new friendships, see the world through different lenses, share stories, cook meals with my people across borders, sit together and cherish everything that's within our presence and beyond, build a bond so strong that it lasts so long that generations to come will have something to hold on to. As you and I, we become the ancestors. What we leave behind is guidance and protection through these lessons, wisdom, knowledge, and love, compassion, truth, and affection, respect for the land we walk, acknowledgement for every blessing. Even though I realize that we are all interconnected, some type of friction exists. This is creating extra tension with dissonance, division. We've been distancing ourselves and losing sight of our unity while clinging to this wealth. These distractions and illusions are really just all constructions, but the way we're trying to build doesn't function within that structure. So to break it down, we have to win this war within our minds, conquer self, and then we'll find a way to help another live. Freedom seeker through music, keep speaking the truth as it's beating out of the speaker. Sound bleeds into different rooms, breaking down these walls of separation till we're face to face. We are reflections of each other in the same time and place. I love y'all.
Oh, 2 for 1. Yo, shout out to Matt Remley and Rachel.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just kind of gleaning from what my brother is speaking about. What I'm hearing is talks of freedom, talks about the fact that we're in a system. What we're doing right now, coming together, like he was saying, in a circle, it does something to your mind. And what we're trying to grasp for when we come together. We didn't come here just to stop this jail. We didn't come here just to fight this bank. We didn't come here just to see other people talk. We're actually reaching for something right now. You know, this is this tipping point in history of humankind where we're reaching for something because we're not having enough. When we're walking with these shoes on this concrete, it's not enough. And when we're walking with our headphones in, looking down on these square blocks, it's not enough. And we're reaching for that right now. And what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling right now is we're reaching for this freedom. Freedom from the system that we have. I come from the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. You know, I'm from a reservation that was a concentration camp, a jail. And we still live in it right now. I go back to this concentration camp and then I come out here. But I feel inclined to say that coming from Standing Rock, you know, I found freedom. And I found what it means to detach from this concrete and what it's like to have your feet in the soil again. And what we're fighting is not just this jail or this pipeline or this, it's money. They're profiting off of people when they put people in these jails. You become a number. You know, I'm a number. I have a number on my tribal ID. You know, I'm in this system. We all have these systematic numbers put upon us. But now is a time where I feel like we're reaching within our spirits to do away with those. And so, what I want to talk about is this freedom and this coming together right now. I have so much respect for Seattle, and I'm really, really proud to be here because Matt, my older brother Matt here, you know, you guys come together like this, and I feel like this is a community, and this is a space, and this is a sacred place within the land where people are coming together in a real way, where they're actually grasping these things. So I just want to like really say that I'm thankful that you guys are you divested, and now you're moving on to the next thing. You know, it's not just this pipeline, it's these jails, and it's all these other things that these banks are funding. And so I just want to shout out to you guys, and you know, keep this divestment fight up, but keep reaching for that freedom, that thing that we're really looking for. So. Yeah, and we have a hip-hop show at 7 at Washington Hall. We came from Vancouver and Victoria. It's tonight. I'm really excited to be here because I couldn't make it across the border because I have warrants. But these guys, they held it down for us. But we'll be there, and then we're gonna go on to the next city. So I really appreciate it if you guys came.
So we have one of our residential world travelers here who's been fighting the good fight on a lot of different soils to help us have not just a Turtle Island perspective about what jails and reservations and history here means, but to help us have also a global perspective, because we now live in a place where deportations have always been a reality, but now they are very much a targeted reality. And we have to grapple with what does it mean to stand against a youth jail, but also what does it mean to stand against borders. Okay, no jails, no pipelines, no borders, because we're basically telling humans they don't belong places simply because they don't have a number or certain types of papers. So if y'all would give it up for Maria.
How's everybody doing? So the last time I held this, I was rapping in the U.S.-Mexican border against the femicides of indigenous women throughout the Americas. So I've been traveling for the last 4 months, connecting with Aboriginal peoples and Black Filipino communities and Haitian communities in Mexico for the last 4 months, because all of that's happening regarding these policies by an Orange Cheeto are really affecting the conditions of migration of indigenous peoples. So my name is Maria Luisa. I rap as Poesía Mariarte with Batallones Femeninos. It's a hip-hop collective based in Mexico, and we focus on addressing femicide and capitalism and colonialism in the communities of indigenous women, and we're based on this analysis that came out of indigenous women that form el Congreso Nacional Indígena, the Indigenous Congress in Mexico, and help form Ejército Zapatista Liberación de Nacional, which is the Zapatistas. So I get to travel and connect with a lot of these women and share experiences. My family has been displaced since colonialism. We're originally from the zone now called Michoacán and Guerrero in Mexico. My mom's Purupecha, my dad is Afro-Indigenous, so we carry the resistance of Vicente Guerrero, which was the first black native president in Mexico that abolished slavery and destroyed the illusion of what a citizen is. He believed that a citizen was all oppressed peoples, and Mexico was a nation state of free peoples. And then he was murdered by the capitalist elite and the Spanish, and we still have the system in place. So one of the things while I was traveling that a lot of people fear is what this embodies, not just this juvie, but this whole settler colonial society where they disregard people, they throw away people, and they classify people as criminals and then other people, right? But a criminal is a concept created by the state. We already know that our peoples, we need healing. We need different ways of being in this society that has never accepted us. Indigenous people, black people, and communities of color are the ones that are mostly likely to get incarcerated at a young age. And majority of white folks don't even, because of their white privilege, because we live in a white supremacist society, don't even know this, don't even acknowledge in their gated communities what is happening outside in our communities, and how people are being displaced at a local, global level. Displacement is gentrification at a global level, so our resistance is connected. What's happening here in the Central District is the same shit that's happening in Guerrero. Like we're being displaced as black native people because the settler colonial system wants to come in and place these things to profit. Our bodies are just profit. People sitting in concentration camps are being exploited and profited because they don't have a little piece of paper that calls you a human being. What kind of society is that? What kind of society do we really embody, as peoples, as free peoples? I consider myself free because my ancestors died for my existence. So in that act, I am destined to be a free person. And so their colonial system, that system's gonna crumble. Our ancestors told us that that system was gonna come and that system was gonna crumble, and we were gonna rise up and create the society that our people have always lived in, which we've always lived in democratic societies. It's not the settlers that brought democracy here. They actually borrowed the democracy of indigenous people to build the settler colonial system. So those are some of my thoughts, but as I was traveling, one of the things that I would share was about the concentration camps, and a lot of people are fearful because in Mexico there's also been a rise of militarism in the police forces and in the military that are taking away people and assassinating people and disappearing people and throwing people in holes, and then it's a fucking genocide. And I'm sorry, there's children, I'm cussing, I can't control it. It's but yeah, so I'm really angry. I was all they're not gonna let me back in the US because I'm not considered a citizen in their system. So my migration status put me at risk for a lot of shit, but I also have no fear because I have a homeland that I'm always gonna struggle for everywhere that I go. Even though I can't live there all the year because it's been 40 years of military occupation and a lot of people in my family and my community have been murdered. So I have to stay in resistance. My existence depends on it. So I just want to leave you all with this rap that I wrote, because really a piece of paper, and just like this juvie, does not determine our humanity, does not determine whether we should live in this society or not, because their society is shit and we're going to build something better. Nací en Cihuatanejo, place of women in Nahua, water mountain, Purupecha, desde Guerrero, nosotras plantamos semillas de resistencia. Economically displaced and occupied land, sobrevivió el colonialismo, creció el imperialismo, ahora me dicen Reagan, resident alien number 1003-1986. Mira, migra, no soy legal, simplemente soy María Luisa con tatuajes y una sonrisa. Yo soy una mujerista, reclaiming and embracing natives, pillaging plantations to struggle alongside blacks, burning to build maroon autonomous nations. I'm quote unquote mixed. Poesía cada día llega con esta melodía. Thank you.
All right, y'all, we're gonna get moving again. I do want to say thank you for being here. I work for Creative Justice, an arts-based alternative to incarceration, and we will be at Washington Hall tonight as well at 7 o'clock to hear these incredible artists. But I also have to go hang out with some young people. So you'll be here with Rachel Heaton as your fearless leader for the rest of the time. But we're gonna move and go to a new location because we have a few more speakers to hear from. We also want to continue the singing and the song and the prayer that we learned at Standing Rock to honor our ancestors and acknowledge that they're gonna give us strength and the ability to do exactly what Maria was talking about, which is build something better. Because that's what we need. We need people with backbones grounded in our ancestors, willing to draw hard lines in the sand and say when something is wrong. So we say no jails, no pipelines, no borders, because it's time to do what's right. Right? It's time to do what's right.
You want to speak real quick and then lead us out? Let's give our sister a big round of applause. Thank you, Nikita, and our future mayor. All right, guys. Before we go, we have Chad Charlie here, and he's gonna share a message with us really quick, and then he's gonna lead us to our next spot. We do have some more speakers, so please stick with us, and let's put our hands together for Chad Charlie.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hey. I used to live here. It's kind of... Thank you guys for being out here. I really didn't prepare anything to speak on, but I guess I'll go with the flow and I'll share a poem if that's cool. Yeah. All right. This one's called Justice, but I'm not gonna use the megaphone. Okay? Alright, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Alright. Justice. You see, the only justice that I've heard of is when my own seed gets murdered by the very man who was only hired to protect and serve him. Yet that man roams free with a slap on the wrist saying lesson learned. And we can say that 1 out of every 5 cops is a bad cop and the other 4 cops are good. But what happened to those 4 good cops when that 1 bad cop was in my neighborhood? Yeah. Killing. They were on the sidelines watching. They didn't even stop him. The video was brought to the judge, but the judge didn't see a problem. But where I come from, they would call that an accomplice. He said, "What are you trying to accomplish?" In which we replied, "Justice." You know that one single line with liberty and justice for all? Or maybe you've forgotten, maybe you just don't recall. That oath that you taken when you had your right hand up. But we all know that hands up don't mean a thing. And this is why we stand up. 150 black lives plan a peaceful protest, but all the media sees is thugs and pitiful hoodlums, rioters and criminal lootings. So the city armed themselves with 300 militarized police officers, ignoring the fact that these are the very men that originally committed the shootings. Yeah. But what do I know? I know that a group of armed black men are called thugs and a group of armed brown men are called terrorists. But what I don't understand is when white people pick up guns, they're either called the militia or they're called patriots. What am I missing? Did I miss a turn? Should I turn back around? Yeah, let's go back. Back and make America great again. You know, back when slavery was in? When the picnic wasn't a lunch at the beach and the front of the bus wasn't made for Africans? Or maybe back when this land was being raped by the white man? Oh wait, it still is. But let's not talk about races. Oh wait, we already did. When they brought up banning all Muslims and all of their kids, claiming that all Mexicans were criminals and rapists. But from what I recall, there was no Mexicans raping black women on them slave ships. Yeah, let's talk about history, and we'll start with immigration. But you see, the one thing you won't find in public education is truth. Throughout our youth, we're forced to read these fictional books passed off as fact because those who win wars have the privilege of writing the text. It's kind of like living in Plato's allegory of the cave, except we're stuck inside living the diary of a slave. You ever wonder why colored people die at a young age? It's because we're lucky to get beaten or we're blessed to get tased. And that's after they cuff us. But by the color of our skin, Lord knows you can't trust us. And that, my friend, is that what you call justice?
Does that work? Hey. So Chad's gonna lead us out. So we're just gonna follow the drums. We're gonna head back out this direction. You guys ready?
What are your songs? What? What are my songs? All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right.
My bad.
A lot of songs I know, nobody knows.
Yep.